We live in an increasingly automated world, but some things still require tedious manual work. Save time automating your shipping and returns in the ShipStation dashboard whilst keeping costs down with industry-leading discounts. Spend more time growing your business when you automate shipping tasks with ShipStation. Go to ShipStation.com and use the code JIM today to sign up for your free 60-day trial. That's ShipStation.com, code JIM. Free 60 days. What are you going to lose? Continents, countries, planets. How are they all different? You might find out, and I don't know about that, with Jim Jefferies. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I should wait for the song to finish. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Jim Jefferies. Welcome to the I Don't Know About That podcast. The normal crew's here. I don't have to introduce them. If you got to this many episodes, you know who these people are. The planet thing, I ran out of ideas. Because countries and continents, that always, when someone goes, that's a continent and that's a country, and you go, like, they call Australia a continent, but then you're like, are we including New Zealand in there? I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah. You've been on vacation, it wasn't your best work. Yeah. What do you want?
Yeah, I've just been on vacation. Now, normally we introduce the doctor, we introduce the guest professional later on the podcast, but we have someone sitting with us right now, and I would like to guess, but I was the person who brought in this person. I've not read up, whatever. This is Dr. Camarava, my proctologist.
It is.
Hello.
I mentioned Doctor before on different things. I've talked about my hemorrhoids at great length.
Yep.
He's seen them. He's seen them at great. I've talked about them on talk shows and podcasts.
Your doctor knows almost as much about your asshole as all your fans do.
On first dates, cool. During my marriage, I've talked about all these things. And anyway, so I went in to see Dr. Camarava, and I'm pronouncing that right,
yeah.
Dr. Camarava. And I went in, and he had his finger up my ass, and he was poking around, as you do. That's the job you've chosen, sir. You can't. There's nothing you can say about it, right? So you're in there, but and then you said, I saw. What show was I on that you saw?
It was Conan.
I was on Conan. He goes, I was so excited. I saw you talking about me on Conan. And he's poking around and the thing. And he goes, I've always wanted to be part of a stand-up routine, didn't you?
Yeah.
Now, no, I haven't actually done a stand-up routine about. I'm all but there. I've almost.
I think you've talked about how you poo, you get a shower.
I had that bit where I had to push my prolapse back up in my body when I was teaching Hank how to shit.
Yeah.
So I have mentioned hemorrhoids, but I haven't mentioned the doctor's visits as such.
I think you mentioned your surgery.
Oh, I've mentioned the surgery in many podcasts. That's where I was going under. Yes, because Dr. Camarava did a full surgery on me, where the anaesthetist just before I went under said that her boyfriend was my biggest, and then I passed out, and I was in turmoil during the whole. Because the chances of her, she didn't sign any non-disclosure of her not going back to her boyfriend and mentioning my lumpy arsehole is slim to none.
Oh, there's a Hippocratic oath, right? I don't know if that applies to anesthesiologists.
No, I don't think they have to do it. No, they don't have to. Anyway, so I had a full surgery, and now I go into the doctor and he bands them up. But we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Before that, I just come back from Hawaii. I'm about to go up to Australia to film the game show.
Yep.
To all the people who are coming on the game show, I'm very excited about filming this season.
You're there now. Well,
to the people who are on the game show, I'm very excited about filming this season because the show was popular. So when you do a first season of a game show, people are on and no one understands the rules, and you have to all the time. People are putting their hand up like this, going, "What?" And I'm like, "You've been bamboozled." You know what I mean? Like, so now everyone will know the rules. So hopefully that'll make my life a little bit easier.
Well, I think you're used to it now too.
I'm used to it as well, and I've had Jack watch every episode. How'd it go, Jack?
It's a great show.
Jack's had to make a reel of my best bits because I'm trying to get a different job, right? I'm still to Channel 7, who's given me this job. I'm still keeping this job,
an additional job.
Yeah, I just look. Someone was looking for work. I just put a reel together for something else, right? And so I said, Jack, you got to watch all the 1% Club, which I haven't watched. How did it go, Jack?
I watched 7 episodes.
Yeah,
and I got to, I think it was episode 6. I was doing really well because I was guessing along with everybody.
Yeah.
It's a really hard show.
It's a very hard show.
Not easy.
That's the thing I was saying is like, I watched one of the episodes you sent me just because I wanted to see it and see it and stuff. But I just ended up like, I'm just like so focused on answering the questions that I'm just like.
A lot of people write to me and they say they love the show. Would you stop yelling? We turn the volume off. Because in this game show, Doctor, I have the questions behind me on a big screen. I am so inconsequential to how this game show is played. The contestants can sit and read and hit their keypad. They don't really need me there, but I just sort of interfere and dick around.
There was one episode where you said give him a rally on the drums like 5 times in a row.
Yeah.
Like the editor should have cut like one of them out.
Give a rally on the drums.
Give a rally on the drums.
It was
That comes from Sherman's boxing tent in northern Queensland, where they would get these my dad, if you read my dad's autobiography, which one day we should read on the podcast, on our Patreon, because it's only 16 pages.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
It's a doozy, and it ends when he's 15.
It's extremely factual.
Yeah, it's extremely
There's
factual.
no fluff.
Every meal is in there. Right?
You gotta act it out.
Every
too.
meal is in there. He has theories on different things that went on. He reckons that one school had a whole lot of Aboriginal kids playing for the team that didn't have birth certificates, and they might have been 19 beating up 14-year-old kids.
Wait, why does that when he's 15?
Oh, because he goes, it gets a bit dark after that. I assume something, some uncle did something after that. I don't know what happened after that. But then it gets real dark after that because he meets my mum. So that's sort of when he dies. So he sort of
The dark ages,
he sort of ends his whole thing. But no, he talks about going up in the outback. But he talks about going to this boxing tent in Queensland that would travel around to the small towns. This is Roma, Queensland. And they would just have boxers standing there, and then they would go, "Who here wants to fight my boy? Who here wants to fight?" And drunk men who had had no medical check or anything like that would put up their hand and go, "I'll have a go." And if you last 3 rounds, you got yourself like a case of beer or $300 or something, like not much.
Yeah.
And people would all come in and they'd watch the local blokes try to punch the professional blokes, right?
It all is.
Yeah, but they were good pub fighters or whatever.
Sure. No, I'd watch that.
Yeah,
I would go to that
all day. If they had that in Studio City, right? In Studio City, they put up a tent where the local guys from the pub got drunk and came and fought professional fighters. You would watch that all day, right? But now we have doctors you get in the way of everything, the medical people. Anyway, so as the guy would come to the ring, the guy would go, "Give him a rally on the drums," and a bloke with a big drum would go, "Bang, bang, 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 bang," and everyone would cheer, and there'd be all sawdust on the ground. I don't know why there was sawdust. There was.
Well, now you need to
That's
get
what
a
that's
big
from?
drum for your
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
Oh, so people don't really know what that's from.
Oh, no. You have to be an 80-year-old Australian to say this.
Because I've heard you say that a million times.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying it because my dad says it to me.
I didn't know that was from that specific.
Yeah.
okay.
Give a rally on the drums. Give a rally on the drums.
a deep
Well, I
cut.
think there was a lot of. I think
Very
I think that was a popular term in the 1940s in Australia. But as I said, you no one my age knows what's going on. And I've just. But I tell you what, when you introduce someone, you go, "And there's Susie, and she's from Marrickville. Give a rally on the drums, everyone." Everyone just claps.
Yeah.
People know what to do, and you say, "Give them a rally on the drums." They're ready to go.
We'll
right.
save the rest of that for the Patreon. Though.
Okay.
We'll read some.
We can read the whole book. I reckon we should get going on with the podcast.
Yeah, well, real quick, you've got some shows coming up.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
yeah, those
We just
links.
added dates as well.
Well, right now, what's on your podcast? You have Hartford, Connecticut, and Providence, Rhode Island, August 25th and August 26th. Mm-hmm. And then you're in Canada starting in September 7th. Thunder Bay, London, Canada, Hamilton, Ontario, Montreal.
We added a show in Montreal.
Show number 2.
Added a show in Thunder Bay as well.
Sudbury, and then Kingston, Ottawa, and then you'll be here in Southern California, Thousand Oaks, Anaheim, and then Oakland. Up in north. There's a bunch more dates too for the rest of the year.
There's a Vegas in December, I believe.
JimJefferies.com.
And I booked in some more Vegases for next year. Vegas, I'm coming non-stop.
Vegas, and then I go to our Instagram. It's still growing, right? What is it? IDCAP podcast?
Oh my
What do you
god.
mean? What do you mean it's
It's
still?
been 3 fucking years.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's
Like,
still growing?
I don't know.
learn the Instagram handle.
Way more people listen to this podcast than they're on that Instagram.
Yeah, that's
so get on
true.
there and follow the
follow
Instagram.
us.
Yeah.
We put fun clips on there.
Review
Yeah, but
us.
why would you? Although there is me dancing with my boobs up there. I didn't even know we filmed that. That was very exciting.
There you go. Extras.
That came to see me. I was excited as well to watch that.
That was
And
such
we-
a great clip. I'm glad we had it.
And we have a live podcast August 29th at Flappers here in Burbank. And So tickets are already on sale. They might.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be.
We
next
announced
week
it,
or
and I
something
know
like
they
that,
said before you even put the name of the. It
They
just said
already have
podcast,
tickets
and they had
sold.
people buying them already before
Yeah.
they even knew. So if you haven't bought your tickets,
It may be too late to get tickets, but go.
Yeah.
Was it really
try
sold
and find
well, is it?
Oh yeah, they were
They-
already buying tickets for it. Said the name of the podcast on it. It just said podcast, and then Josh there told me, he goes, "Oh, we're already selling tickets."
What? My name wasn't even on it. They just
No,
saw
but
the-
we had announced it on here the date, so people
Yeah.
were guessing like that must be the podcast.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
people were just dead into
Yeah, yeah.
podcasts.
I don't care what it is. I'm there.
Yeah, let's do it.
I hope it's Mark Maron.
So check that out and see if there's tickets left. But we are planning on doing more, so just stay tuned and listen to what we're doing. So yeah, let's get to our guest.
All right.
I'm gonna introduce him.
Introduce him.
Dr. Alan Kamrava is here.
Thank you.
Dr. Alan Cameron. Would you like to be called Alan for the day or Dr.
Alan's
Cameron?
fine.
Alan? All right. Now it's time to play.
Yes, though. Yes, though. Yes, though. Yes, though. Judging a book by its cover.
Okay, I have to guess just by looking at you what your occupation is. I'm going to guess by your well manicured hands that you're a proctologist. Because that's the thing.
Not a hangnail
Because
in
every
sight.
now and again I let a nail grow out. There, look at them. Look at that. Do you get manicures? Do you go for it?
No, but I do have nail clippers in my office.
Yeah. You don't want it to get out of hand, and you don't want to leave one of those
Okay.
ones that just dangling off the corner, and then do something, and then you pull it back out, and you go, "Geez, it's gone."
So you know the topic apparently.
Proctology, yeah.
Well, hemorrhoid. We're going to talk about hemorrhoid. I mean,
Hemorrhoid.
proctology,
Let's
a bit of
not,
hemorrhoid.
because the rest. Look, I'll tell you one of the benefits of the hemorrhoidal person. Dr. Kamrava has told me that my prostate is of a good size. You know how you might need to get your prostate checked. You're too young. You don't have one.
I need to get mine. Yeah, I'm 50.
Right? Yeah, but you might have to get. I don't have to get it checked. I got fingers up my ass all the time.
Yeah, I haven't ordered.
Mine's being checked on the regular. No prostate cancer here, my friend. Thank you, hemorrhoids. You saved the day.
What do you call it? An order for the thing to drink. I got to do the. I got to do
Metamucil?
The bowel prep.
Yeah. I got to do
Oh.
the scope. I'm doing the scope, and what? Yeah, bowel prep. Yeah, you got to just drink that fluid.
Oh, you've done that. Yeah, I've done that.
I'm
for
not looking
something
forward to
else.
that.
I've done
Seems
that
like
too.
a fun night. So.
You can also find that on Patreon.
Yeah, I'll be doing it.
the
Is that
video
one
up.
of our new sponsors?
I'm gonna let me give Dr. Alan Kamrava a proper introduction. He's already an expert because he's your proctologist on hemorrhoids. But
I went through
he
a few
is-
proctologists before I got to him.
There you
He's
go.
the best.
He is a board-certified colorectal surgeon and proctologist. He is part of the associate teacher faculty at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, actively working with medical students, residents, and fellows. He's also published many books, journals, as well as speaking at several international conferences. And you also have a degree in business. But if you want to tell us just a little bit in your own words, like how you got into this and what led you to this, and a little bit more about Jim's asshole.
Yeah. How much about your asshole can?
I don't know.
Is that just for Patreon?
No, you can talk about it all you want.
No, it was
that
still-
would cover the black hole episode.
We when I was in training, that's where you pick what you want to do. There's a lot of different cancers, and you find that most of the cancers, they do these big surgeries, and people still just, it's like they either make it worse or extend it. Colon cancer is one of the top 3 cancers, and the surgeries we do actually is curative. And I was like, if I'm going to do these big surgeries on people, I want to actually cure them at a high number, and then you become the expert on the anatomy. And so most of the people who go to colorectal, it's about the cancer and all this stuff, and then day to day you deal with all the other little things.
Do you find that I'm just trying to weave in a joke that I already do. Do you find that colon cancer doesn't get enough research, buddy?
No, it gets good money.
Ah, that fucks my joke up.
Sorry, it does not.
But
Absolutely.
it doesn't
not.
get as much. It doesn't get much money as breast cancer, does it?
I'd have to look, but my guess is no.
No, because breast
Yeah.
cancer with all the pink bat. That's because no one wants to buy a brown ribbon with red spots on it.
You should have just done the joke, because I knew the joke, and you're like, you're like, no, okay. Anyways, let's keep on with the podcast.
But it's pretty frequent. People, while I'm actually doing the scope, they'll say, "How did you start doing this?
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
did you
Yeah.
do this?" I get asked all the time.
Well, I tell you what, I know why, because it's the ass, so people get because of the thing. But I'd rather that than being a dentist and looking at people's mouths.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, mouths are, yeah.
Yeah, I'd prefer. I'd also prefer it to the eardrum.
Yeah, I don't mind ears. Whether wax bothers you?
Just When they go in and they do the scrape thing like that, and then they pump water into it, it's just as uncomfortable as a finger up your ass. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Nose is a dream.
Nose is gross.
Yeah, nose, you can look up noses all day.
No. By the way,
What's your order of holes to put your finger in?
vagina?
Yeah, I was just doing your body. but all right, though, you continue. I don't know what you're going on. So
Oh, my own holes.
yeah.
Oh,
No,
I thought you meant looking at other people's holes.
you can all holes on the
He's the
human
type
body.
of doctor that just does
I
exams
don't
on
mind
himself.
ears. I
Yeah,
have
like, do you go to the doctor going, I know a woman who's got a bad vagina, doc? Like,
I have a thing that I bought that's a camera that goes in your ear.
What?
Yeah.
And you can look at it on your phone, and you can like get like earwax out and stuff. There's a little tiny scoop on the end that's like soft, and you get because I have like a lot of earwax buildup.
you have an app for your earwax?
Yeah, it's a thing that looks like a pen, and I can
Gotta be
stick
a
it in
lot
my
of
ear.
buildup.
I can
You
stick it
got
in
a
my ear,
whole
and I can
app
like,
for it.
oh, there's my ear. I'm like, woo, when I take it out, it's like Bluetooth.
So
Okay.
ear number one
Yeah.
hole.
I made it ear.
Is
Yeah.
your easiest?
Then nose. I would go look at butt last. I'm not a big butt fan.
Right. So you're putting
Mouth.
ear and nose over mouth.
Yeah.
The easiest
Mouths
one.
are gross.
Mouths are easy to put your finger in.
Oh, I thought you meant which ones I would like to look in.
No, just where do you like to
Where
put
do
your
you put-
fingers,
where-
Forrest?
what's your finger order?
Oh, I didn't know any of the questions. Okay, let's start over again.
Forrest is used to asking the questions on this podcast.
I do a lot of this. I don't pick deep in my nose, but I go like these little, like on the edge. So I do that a
No,
lot.
I go right deep.
Yeah, so I do that probably more than my mouth, and then my ear, and then my mouth. I don't put my finger in my mouth a lot. It's gross.
And then, so your ass dead last?
I don't put my finger in my ass ever.
Yeah, but if you had to?
Yeah, last.
So you'd prefer that over your penis hole?
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, idiot.
Now put your finger in your penis.
I mean, it's not really a hole. It's sealed up. So.
It's not sealed up.
Mine
It's a
seals
hole.
up. Mine goes like that, like the ketchup packets.
And your asshole doesn't seal up? It just stays open, does it?
All right, let's get to our guests. We're gonna answer questions.
Forrest got
By the way, I should have promoted this earlier, but you mentioned cancer. I'm doing a benefit for International Myeloma Foundation. Jim's done a bunch of them. He's doing it again.
We're against it.
Yeah. August 30th at the Improv. So there's another show you can go to. Jim's going to be on that with some other good comics. So anyways. All right. So I'm going to ask Jim a series of questions about hemorrhoids. At the end of that, Dr. Kamrava, you're going to grade him on his accuracy 0 through 10. 10's the best. Kelly's going to grade him on confidence. I'm going to grade him on et cetera. We'll add all the scores together. And then 0 through 10, butt hurt. 11 through 20, butt head. 21 through 30, but I digress.
I got
don't
to
even know
tell
if
you,
that's a
Doctor's
thing.
Kamrava, he's got a lot of jokes around. He's got superheroes all around his practice with like different funny names. So he would be the Man of Stool, and it would be Superman. What's Batman?
Bat stool.
Batstool.
And he's sitting on a toilet taking a shit.
Yeah.
Wait, did you make these?
No, they're all online. So every room has just funny photos.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dead Poo.
Dead Poo's a good one.
Dead Poo's there.
I like that. Dead Poo's funny.
It's all just pictures of superhero shitting.
Yeah.
There's a market for
There-
everything.
You
It's
know,
amazing.
when we were in, I want to say it was Lisbon or Barcelona, there was this one store, I pictured it, and it was just this little character just taking a poop with a pile of poop underneath it. And then in the store, it had every famous person you could imagine in the world.
Oh
and
yeah,
then some.
I have one of those in my car.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
I have John
Barcelona's
Lennon
in
shitting.
Barcelona's into it. I'll send you a link.
Yeah.
So, who else am I going to say that to? Send you a link. Okay, Jim, what are hemorrhoids?
Hemorrhoids are varicose veins of the channel of
Wow.
the anus.
These are the biggest
I'm
words
so
you've ever
proud
used.
right now.
Yeah, it's the biggest words you've ever used in it.
channel.
Yeah, of the anal canal.
Oh.
Canal. you said. Okay, here's one. Spell hemorrhoids.
Okay, so HEM.
Yep.
Now there's an I or an O. Hemo. HOMOROIDS.
Yeah.
Hemorrhoids. No, put another I in there somewhere.
Another
Just
eye.
anywhere. What?
Hemorrhoids.
I can't spell.
I know. That's why we threw it
Yeah.
in there. It's fun.
It's a hard one to spell.
I watch.
It is a hard one
I
to
watch
spell.
spelling bees on ESPN I get high and watch them. That's a good time. Watching like small kids just get up and da-da-da-da-da like that. It's fucking unbelievable these kids can spell.
What?
1 second. My internet disconnected. What's the Wi-Fi here? The No More Mr. Wi-Fi?
Correct.
Okay. It's...
Yeah, mine's not connected either.
Yeah, I can't take notes. Okay, now I think I'm connected. Okay, great.
What are types of hemorrhoids? Like, name some different types of hemorrhoids.
Internal, external, piles. I don't know the different types. I just have internal and external.
Okay. What are some common causes or risk factors that can contribute to the development of hemorrhoids?
If you push too much when you poo, you don't have enough fibre. Also, genetics always play a part in everything. My mother was a big hemorrhoid sufferer, and then when I got my first one in my 20s, she just looked at me like, yes.
Carried on the family legacy.
Yeah. Other risk factors is bad diet, of course, will do it to you. High blood pressure, I assume, will do it to you as well. I don't know that for a fact.
Describe the symptoms associated with hemorrhoids and how they may vary depending on the type and
The
severity.
symptoms: a light feeling of glass sliding down your colon.
Ow.
All right, till it reaches the end. Like it feels like a rock is just being dragged down the whole thing, but that's just poo going past the hemorrhoid. And then your prolapsing of your asshole is another. That's a big symptom. That's when you've left it a little too long, haven't you? And so that'll be a grape-like thing hanging off your asshole. That is throbbing. Blood is a sign. Now, what you want from your blood is you want a bright red blood to mean it's in the intestine. It's right towards the end. If it's a dark blood, it means it's deep in your intestine, and that could be cancer or something worth worrying about a bit more. So you want a nice bright red hemorrhoidal blood. Also, I think, and this is a controversial opinion, I think that hemorrhoid blood has its own smell. But that's just me. When I do a bloody hemorrhoidal shit, I'm like, I can smell that before I stand up. What's going on there?
Try not to vomit right now.
Right?
Too much detail.
But
You know too much about this.
yeah. But
right.
do you need any more symptoms?
How are hemorrhoids diagnosed by healthcare professionals? Like what methods?
Finger. They haven't improved on the finger, Forrest.
Yeah.
It's a quote, the doctor from Cannonball Run 2, I seldom need more than this.
Okay.
Right? Have you seen that?
A long time ago.
Cannonball.
Okay, so
Yeah, I've seen
in Cannonball 2, right?
Cannonball Run too.
In Cannonball Run 2. So in the first Cannonball Run, I believe that Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. dressed up as priests in the first one.
Yeah.
But, and then, this is, okay, so Dom DeLuise and who's the, Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds, yeah.
Burt Reynolds decide to be ambulance drivers so that they can get through traffic on the Cannonball Run. That's going to be their big thing. They just turn on the sirens and they get through. But they need a doctor, so they get this alcoholic guy who just keeps on injecting himself with medicine in the back, who's had a few... And his big quote is he pulls out his finger for every exam and goes, I seldom need more than this. Deep cut, man.
What?
Deep cut.
That is a deep cut.
What?
No, I haven't finished. Okay, so what was the question?
Use finger. You got it.
Your finger's the way
Well,
to do it.
we'll see. What
Finger
is-
up the ass.
What is the medical term for bleeding from hemorrhoids? What is the medical term for this? During or after a bowel movement? It's a medical term for it.
I think they'd name it after me by now.
Yeah.
They'll call that a Johnny Cash, Ring of Fire.
Which grading system is commonly used by medical professionals to categorize the severity of internal hemorrhoids? Grading system.
Grading system, the metric system, I reckon. You go in centimetres, millimetres, and you don't start off with an inch big one. You go, this one's half a centimetre,
Okay.
1 centimetre.
Can-
Metric system.
Can hemorrhoids be mistaken for other medical conditions? If so,
Yeah,
what?
yeah, it could be mistaken. I reckon it could be mistaken for some types of cancer or an enlarged prostate or something like that. There could be, or warts. I've had one of them on my ass as well. Oh God, just went away. Doctor was going to burn it off. That was way back in the early 2000s. It was a different world, kids.
You talked about this already. What lifestyle modifications can help alleviate hemorrhoid system?
Well, this is the thing is,
symptoms?
I meant to take Metamucil all the time, or fibre gummies or something like that. And then I was away in Europe and I ran out of fibre and my hemorrhoids flared up again because I didn't have a Metamucil and they didn't have it in whatever country we're in. And I was just like in the pharmacy like this, I just need Metamucil. And it was like Barcelona. It was like maybe...
Oh yeah, we did get it though. I remember
it was Portugal or something. I was
I
having.
remember Adam found the fiber for you.
Yeah, I got these real official looking fiber tablets from Lisbon
Fiber.
that were just like they just looked like they had like sawdust inside a capsule. There was nothing much going on. But here in the good old United States of America, which I'm proud to be a citizen of, I'll tell you that for sure. we buy Metamucil, and we take that. Is that the question?
Sure.
So you get more fiber in diet.
That's a lifestyle modification, more fiber.
Less pushing. I think, and this is, I hope my wife doesn't. I think because you shouldn't sit so long on the toilet, right? And so you should do your poo and move on with your day, and you shouldn't push too hard, right? And I used a squatty potty for a while, which you have one of those. They're like a plastic ring you put around the toilet. I think they sold on podcasts for a while. Anyway, you're not meant to push. What was the question again? What lifestyle changes?
I think you're good.
No. I was going somewhere with this.
Modifications to help
You said you
alleviate-
have-
I
Your wife doesn't
hope
listen
my
to
wife
this.
doesn't listen to this. Because I believe my hemorrhoids got worse after the last child was born because I was going to the toilet just to get to some relief. Right? I was just like sick of the family and I was just going, I'll go to the toilet. I was sitting on there for like 30 minutes just so I could have some of my own time. Because that's the only time no one really bothers you is when you're shitting.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to worry. If she listens to any episode, I don't think it'll be this one.
No, but
Joe turned off already.
My mother-in-law Becca, who I adore, hello Becca, she listens to this podcast, and she will know, and she'll tell my wife. She'll dollar me.
I think about the time that you talked about how your hemorrhoid blood smells. A lot of people turned this one off.
Yeah.
So might have a dip in numbers.
Well, my mother-in-law was funny because she rings me up and she goes, "Why don't you do that Smartless podcast with Will Arnett and
Jason Bateman.
Sean Hayes.
and Sean Hayes?" And I said, "Well," and she goes, "They've had guests like Paul McCartney," and I'm like, "I think you just answered the question."
Yeah, the guests are massive.
Yeah, like I actually play Call of Duty and we play baseball with the producer of that podcast is one of my very good friends.
Yeah.
And he knows.
He's got your phone number.
Talk to him on the reg.
I know Sean produced my sitcom for NBC that never saw the light of day,
Yeah,
right?
they know you exist.
Sean's been to my house. They know where to find me, smart people of Smartless.
Get on it. Are there any medical conditions or factors that may increase the risk of developing hemorrhoids?
Any what?
Like any medical conditions or factors that may increase the risk
I
of
think
developing?
being in porn would increase it. I think that's a
wonder.
workplace.
Yeah,
Widely
well,
Because you
Medical
ever seen the
condition
arse is
being
prolapse?
important.
Sometimes when I see the arse is prolapse, because I know how hard it is for that to stop happening and what you need to go through. I'm not masturbating at that stage. I'm like, leave the poor girl alone.
Okay,
She's been through enough.
I'm gonna jump around here real quick.
So I'm
Explain.
going to say porn and or. Just anyone who takes up the bum a lot probably has more issues. The doctor can correct me or not, but I believe that dicks in your bum aren't good for hemorrhoids.
The question was, are there any medical conditions that may increase the risk of developing
or
hemorrhoids?
factors.
You said being in porn.
We live in an increasingly automated world, but some things still require tedious manual work. Luckily for e-commerce business owners, shipping is no longer a manual task. Thanks to ShipStation. Save time automating your shipping and returns in the ShipStation dashboard whilst keeping your costs down with industry-leading discounts. Look, I'm building a site at the moment to try to sell me records and stuff like that because me records, unless you go to a record store like a Neva or something like that, you can't really get them. But they're all in my garage, and so we're going to sell those. Jack's using the ShipStation. He sent them out before.
Yep.
Tell people how easy it is, Jack.
It's really simple. Before ShipStation, it was just such a pain in the ass, and ShipStation has made my life easier and has made it cheaper for Jim.
Yeah, cheaper for me. Not that I check the prices. I'd let Jack do that for me.
He'll check it later and call me at 10 p.m. going, why is it this expensive? This is what it costs. I'm sorry.
That car you ordered in Maui, fucking hell.
Well, ShipStation makes it easy to automate shipping tasks for orders from every marketplace in one dashboard. Effortless integration everywhere you sell online, including Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Shopify, and more.
And JimJefferies.com.
Yeah. Manage every order from one simple dashboard, print shipping labels, easily compare rates and delivery times to optimize every shipment, and automate delivery notifications. And with enterprise solutions that make warehouse optimization easy, ShipStation scales when you do. With industry-leading discounts, you'll never have to worry about overpaying for shipping. Get up to 84% off USPS and UPS UPS rates. And if that's not enough, use the promo code JIM to try ShipStation free for 2 months. Over 130,000 companies have grown their e-commerce business with ShipStation, and 98% of companies that stick with ShipStation for the year become customers for life.
Spend more time growing your business when you automate shipping tasks with ShipStation. Go to ShipStation.com, use the code JIM, use it today, and sign up for a free 60-day trial. That's ShipStation.com, code JIM.
And anal sex love.
What I'm going to do is we've got
If
about...
I'm no good. I'm not saying it's not enjoyable. I'm not saying you should never do it, and it might be your thing, and I'm not saying it's a sin. I'm just saying, for hemorrhoids, not the best. If I was a gay fella, I would have had to retire my ass years ago.
Okay. You hear that, smart? Let's have Jim on.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of questions left, so I'm going to skip through a couple of them, and that way we can start talking to the doctor, because you clearly know a lot about this. But let me see. I don't ask him as we're going. What is thrombosis in the context of hemorrhoids?
Okay, so deep vein thrombosis is when people sit, like, I know that's not what you asked, but I'm going to work laterally backwards, right? So deep vein thrombosis is when someone sits on an airplane for too long and they get a clot in their vein. So I'm going to say that thrombosis is a clot in the vein of your rectum.
Okay. I'm going to ask you 2 more questions, then there's questions I will ask you we'll come back to, because I know you're going to know the answers. How do hemorrhoids impact bowel movements, and what can be done to ease discomfort during bowel movements?
More crying than usual is one of the things. It makes it harder to, because it's more just painful is the real thing. It's not like you do it and then there's like a dent in the side of the turd that's the shape of the hemorrhoid. It's not like there's anything like that. The poos still look variably the same. But blood in your poo, blood in your stool, I'll say stool, just try to be medical, and more painful when you poo.
Okay.
Medical.
And then here,
Medical.
here, I'll ask this question up here. So I'm sorry I'm jumping around. What are possible complications associated with untreated or severe hemorrhoids?
Well, this is something that I've always thought they could become septic, but they never have. I've always wondered why I'll have an open wound in my arsehole that shit will pass by, and it won't get affected. But if I cut my finger a little bit and don't wash it regularly, it could become pussy. I'm glad that it doesn't.
Well, you're not rubbing your asshole on things in the environment, though.
It's still shit, Kelly.
I know, but it's your own. I would wonder if maybe that has an effect.
Look, I don't know. I'm just glad it doesn't happen. Don't get me wrong, but I've always wondered why this can't be the biggest. Because I've always thought, like, when you touch a door handle or something like that, you wash your hands with soap and all that type of stuff. You have shit around your asshole, and we just get a bit of paper and give it a bit of a wipe down, and we go, and that's that.
So what are the complications associated with severe hemorrhoids?
Could become septic. Prolapsing of anus. Your arsehole, I'll tell you, this is a complication that doesn't look as pretty as it used to. I'll tell you that. Now when I have a massage, if I'm not wearing a towel, I try to keep me cheeks sort of close together, so if they're rolling me over or anything, I don't want to see anything. I don't want to show it to anyone. It's not a presentable arsehole anymore.
Okay, 2 more questions. What are the non-surgical treatment options available for hemorrhoids?
Good you can ask. Well, what I've moved over from the surgery, because I went back to the young doctor over here, and I said, Doctor, I think I need surgery again. And he said, we're more into rubber banding now. And so what he does is, those, now you might correct me, but they look like, those ones that people have on their braces?
Yeah.
Like that. He gets those, and he gets like a gun that has like a scooper thing, and he puts it around it, and it chokes it off. Yeah. Now, the problem is when you do that, it presses up against your prostate, and for like 2 days, you feel like you need to poo non-stop. Very uncomfortable.
Do you know the name of this procedure?
Rubber banding.
Okay. Last question. In the THD procedure that Jim had performed, so I'm assuming
rubber banding.
Yeah. I don't even know what THD stands for. Maybe you do.
Thick, hard, dick.
Yep, that's it. You got it. You don't even need to be your doctor. In the THD procedure that Jim had performed, how many bundles of hemorrhoids are typically tied off?
I think one at a time. But I think I had 3 done at once. But there might be. I call them piles because there's loads of them. But I don't know if people use the term piles.
Some people do. I've heard it. Yeah, piles.
Yeah, but I use the term piles.
Okay, so Dr. Kamarava, thanks for sitting there and listening to Jim talk about his butt. True. You used to.
I think
How did Jim do on his knowledge of hemorrhoids? 0 through 10. 10's the best.
He's at 68%.
Yeah, not bad.
6.5, 6.8
I
even.
would give you a 7 there, round it up. How do you do in confidence?
10.
10, 17, yeah, etc. 0. Butthead. So, all right. I just didn't want to say the top one again. I didn't like it. All right. What are hemorrhoids? Jim said varicose veins of the channel of the anus, or the
I'll change it to colon.
the canal of the anus. Yeah.
He said it perfect. I mean, it was actually a proud moment.
Ah,
When I
thank
talk
you.
about this.
Yeah.
No, so they're just that. They're varicose veins in the butt. Just like you would think in the legs.
Yeah.
They're just that part. of
And
the
why do
animal.
they get big?
Constipation, pressure, taking your phone into the toilet, which
Yeah.
answers one of your later questions. You know.
Too long on the toilet.
I don't know if I've ever had hemorrhoids.
That's why that Hello Tushy, man,
You know-
that'll fix it for
Yeah, I
you.
use that all the time.
So it's one of those things. Everyone has hemorrhoids, quote unquote, but we've never fixed the. I don't want to get too boring. This is a comedy
Yeah.
show, but basically,
No.
the original surgery for hemorrhoids, they just took them all out, and everyone became incontinent. And so then they realized you need these little veins to help keep. It's about 20% of our ability not to basically shit ourselves is these veins.
Oh, they used to remove them?
Yeah, they used to. Well,
it helps
like
you
surgery.
tighten the.
It just gives a kissing touch.
Is
Yeah.
that why after the surgery I followed through on more farts in the last 8 years than normal?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
I followed through on more farts. That's
But
such a funny way
they,
to say it.
we never probably updated terminology because we used to think they're just bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it should be like hemorrhoids, which are normal, and then varicose hemorrhoids. Like leg
Yeah,
veins, varicose
inflamed
veins.
hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
So we need the hemorrhoids. So hemorrhoids aren't bad, but if they're inflamed.
Yeah,
roid
you
rage.
know what, puffy one. But it's the same thing. It's
good
like
one.
like people get varicose veins. Like my father got varicose veins in his legs because he used to sit with his legs crossed all the time in the morning and eat his breakfast.
Yeah.
And then he got them, and now he sits with a big wide man spread. Now ever since
I don't even know what
then.
varicose veins are, to be honest.
You ever seen it on the
I've
back
seen
of
them.
someone's legs and they're all
I've seen
puffed
them,
up
but
and they're all.
that's just the same thing. They're inflamed and you have to
Yeah,
hurt your legs.
Yeah, my asshole is like the back of an old lady's leg.
Ah,
Do
okay.
they serve an important function in the legs?
Yeah, I mean, they return the blood down from the bottom. We have lots of little veins, though.
Well, like I meant.
They make blood travel.
No, I
through your
know, but
body.
like, I guess I was.
Do our legs need blood?
No, it wasn't about the blood. I was thinking of like more of a
Like what the hemorrhoids do. And
Yeah.
and
Like, I meant something more than that.
They don't keep your legs taut.
See, that was already the most interesting thing. I didn't
Yeah.
even know we needed hemorrhoid. Like that was already. We're good.
I mean, this
We
gets
need
two
more.
things, but so veins are the most passive, weak part of the body.
Yep.
Just they're weak. So the legs, it's weird. The blood goes through the legs because our muscles squeeze, and it just as you move, the muscles squeeze and just pressure pushes them up. But what keeps them from coming back down is you have these little valves. So the blood comes down and hits these valves, and it can't go back down. And so just with time, the valves break, and so if they break, the blood just pools. So veins have no capacity themselves to do anything but be passively, and so as they weaken, they just
Got it.
yeah.
Huh.
Too
Okay.
much?
No, that's
no,
good.
it's good.
That's what the podcast is about.
Okay.
We're
I
just
said
gonna
I'd have to
learn.
Wanna learn
retire
stuff.
my asshole.
How do you spell hemorrhoids? I don't think Jim got it right.
It's I mean, I still spell check myself. It's HEMORRHOIDS.
That's correct.
HMORR.
2 R's. Yeah.
But literally to this day, I still spell check it as even I could say it. I'm like, doesn't look right.
I always
I have the same
mix
problem
up
with the
the
word
two
August.
M's with
Yeah.
the two R's.
Yeah.
I always forget the second H.
yeah, I don't. It's okay if we misspell it, but yeah, if you misspell it, we'd be like, yeah. But how would you know?
What's some slang words?
Pile is used a lot.
Piles.
Piles.
Right, we
Roids.
just say roids.
Butt grapes.
Roids. No,
Roids.
just roids.
What? But what?
Butt grapes. My ones are always about the size of a grape. Well,
What?
they say
Grapes?
They're too
yours are the
big.
size
They're
of
that
a
big?
grape?
You don't want to think of grapes. So you put those.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
sweet.
yeah. I got a
I
grape.
know, but wait,
grape.
they're that big?
Oh yeah, I have ones that you can hold like this, like real.
Are Jim's the biggest you've seen?
No.
But I have sizable ones.
You have good ones.
Yeah,
They're
yeah, I have
fun.
good ones,
His
yeah.
I call fun.
Yeah. No. Look, I still get on with me life.
Yeah.
I
Since I've known
could-
you, I've known about your hemorrhoids.
I could be on a medicine if they found some like the Ozempic for hemorrhoids, right? Some injection. They would have me picnicking and throwing frisbees with a dog. I would do those adverts tomorrow for free if we got rid of the hemorrhoids.
What are the types of hemorrhoids? Jim said internal, external piles.
Yeah, I accepted that. I mean, there's basically internal, external. Typically, I think it's one of the other questions they'll do grade 1 through 3.
Okay.
And the grades are just by symptoms. Actually, like, people, we each have our pet peeve, which is like OCD. I get OCD when a physician says on exam grade 3 or grade 1. Because grade 1 just means they're there, but doesn't know. Grade 2 comes out after a bowel movement and then comes back, goes up on its own. And grade 3 is it falls out when you take a shit, and it's unless you stick your finger up, it doesn't go back in.
I have those. I've had those. I don't have those at the moment. I got a grade 2 at the moment.
Yeah.
I got no grade 3s, and I've probably got some grade 1s.
That seems terrible.
But at some stages, I've had plenty of grade 3s. I've had ones that have gone through so many grades they're graduating high school.
You got a PhD? PhD in
Yeah, my one's wearing a formal dress. Jack gets them.
Mine might be 2s, maybe 1s.
You've never had to push them back.
No, I think mine are external and just like bumps.
Is
and
it
then go
genetic
away.
with you?
I don't know.
Well, you could ask. Not a conversation.
Yeah, we're not related.
No, not you. I met with your
Ask your
family.
dad, Jack.
I met your family. Like, yeah.
I think my mom has them.
Yeah.
Damn.
She definitely does.
Outed on the podcast.
Yikes.
Yeah, your mum listens to the podcast.
She's like, fuck!
I kept been keeping that a secret for years.
I had one thing
if
one
I
time.
could get up right now, I'd be so angry.
I had a thing one time when I was washing my butt, and then I felt something near my butthole that I thought was a hemorrhoid, but I wasn't sure. It might have been, right?
Is it gone now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a little hemorrhoid.
But it didn't hurt.
But it ran out of the room, and it was about 6 foot tall.
I bring that back.
I was thinking like this big, but yeah.
I thought I was like, but I had touched it. This is like a year or so ago, and I was like, I guess that's a hemorrhoid. And it was there for like 2 days, and then it was gone. I was like, it must have been a hemorrhoid, but it didn't hurt. And then I was like, in my head, like, oh, I'm dying. It's something.
One of my pet peeves, and I've heard this about 3 times, not even a pet peeve, just a small peeve, is when I'm watching stand-up comedy. That's it. No, when I'm watching stand-up comedy and someone talks about their hemorrhoid, and they've obviously just had their first hemorrhoid, and I'm sitting there, and there's some guy on stage like this, and then this thing came out, dude, and it was like the size of my end of my pinky, and I'm like, all right, princess, calm down. That's every day for me, mate.
So my question is, if I had that again where I could feel it was out for a day or two, I'm supposed to put it back in?
No, you can leave it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It
It'll go
literally
down.
sounds like you're talking about a dog.
My ones
It was
I
out
had
for
to,
a day or two. Was hungry.
I had to push him at one stage. I had to push him. It was on one
know,
side.
I've heard
it's not like it's
journey.
both sides. It's one side just goes out.
Yeah.
It's a prairie dog. That's the name, right?
Yeah.
Prairie
Yeah, have
dog,
you ever seen like an animal with a prolapsed ass? That'll give you a good sort of.
No.
You go, okay, because that would be probably the best image
Look
to
it up.
start
Yeah,
with.
no, I've got Google.
Go get a horse with a
Just make sure your
prolapsed
camera
ass
doesn't
or
pick it up.
something like that.
No, you don't have to.
Prolapsed asshole animal. Okay, images.
police are
Here.
on
It looks like
You.
it
no.
looks like the lips
It's
of
all-
a
it's
woman
all blurred out,
from,
like you have
from
to
Beverly
press-
Hills.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
my
God.
God.
Turn it off.
This looks like a Vienna sausage coming
Turn it
out of this. Okay, let's get back. What are some common causes or risk factors that contribute to the development of hemorrhoids? Jim said you push too hard when you poo, genetics, bad diet, high blood pressure.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, blood pressure probably less. Push too hard.
Yeah.
Just bad genetics, constipation.
So it's the
Yeah,
constipation.
I like he just pointed at me. It's bad genetics.
Pregnancy. For,
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, we had a question here on pregnancy. I didn't get to
Not all the pregnant women, but all the pregnant women in my life, and I'm sure they're happy. They don't listen to the podcast, but they both got them. And once again, I heard them talk about their small hemorrhoid, like they were living in World War II at the height.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, you don't know. You don't
Yeah, but
know.
they're also pregnant. There's a lot of other things.
Oh, they had other problems. They had other problems. But I've had toilet bowls. I swear to God, I've had toilet bowls where if you didn't know what was going on, you'd go, that person has days to live. If you just looked at it, you go...
We've seen the picture with the olive.
I still need that photo.
That's not even the worst one. Oh yeah, my body doesn't digest anything. Could that be thing?
Have you showed him the olive photo?
I shit out a whole olive, doctor.
That's pretty cool.
and a chip, like a large French fry, and an olive, and they just came out like I eat like a duck. Like I take a couple of mouthfuls.
Dr.
And
Robin wants it for his office, on the wall. Put it up next to the superheroes.
it's not a good one.
Will you autograph it?
Yes.
No. It's a devastating looking
It's
picture.
so good.
terrible. It's terrible.
So
Not good.
funny.
So if you're pregnant,
If you can tell me the date, Jack, I can find it for you. Otherwise, it'll take me too long.
you were in Australia.
Just search olive on your phone and it might pull it up.
You were
What,
in-
olive?
Yeah. Yeah.
I reckon that's how it works.
You can search in photos and
If it can
Or, like,
detect
toilet
the olive,
or
then
shit.
everybody who's never seen the picture will at least believe the story.
Search like Armageddon.
While you're looking for that, so women that are pregnant get them like always? Is that
Not
it?
always, but so women typically get it during pregnancy, and then they're good. And men in their 40s usually because they get their pot belly, so the weight of the belly.
Yeah, you're telling me, but that's probably what's. But genetically, I'm pretty good. I'm just really out of shape, so eventually will catch up with me. But I had everything tested recently. But and pregnancy, it's the same way. They deal with it the same way, right? Yeah.
The toilet didn't come up. Other things came up in the toilet. Let's go.
diarrhea.
We can move on here. Ask the next question then. Describe the symptoms associated with hemorrhoids and how they may vary depending on type and severity. Jim said glass sliding down your colon when he's pooping, prolapsing, a grape-like thing hanging out of your ass. I need to read the rest of these.
And
Oh,
blood.
wait, does
And
blood
he
have a
said-
different smell?
I
You know,
think. Well, it's blood
it's the
mixed.
first time
it's
I heard
blood,
that.
It's
That was the
blood
new one.
mixed with poo. You see, it's got its own thing, but blood definitely has a smell.
Yeah. So those are all symptoms. I mean,
Yeah. But what's interesting is people get used to, right? We're all, it's weird. And no one knows this. Why are we comfortable with our own shit smell?
yeah, I always want.
Right?
And
You
farts.
walk in someone else's bathroom and it's like, what the fuck? And so people really know when their bowel movements are off and they're like, something smells like shit now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, why is that? I thought you were going to give us the answer. Why?
No, we don't know. But
I'll relish
we
my
do-
farts, and then if somebody else farts, I'm like, that's disgusting.
We do this fun treatment but interesting treatment. For people with some infections, we'll actually take someone else's shit and put it in their belly as
What?
a treatment. It's called a fecal transplant. Kid you
What?
not. This is
Treatment.
real.
It sounds like a punishment.
What?
No, it's a treatment.
I've heard about this fecal
I
transplant.
think
Yeah.
we talked about this on the gut health episode for some reason.
Yeah, so it's fecal
Yeah.
transplant. It's for like these infections, and they're trying it for other things. But the one universal thing everyone says is, my farts stink now.
Yeah.
Because it's somebody else's smell.
So you
Wow.
put the poop in the where?
Just right up. I mean, there's different ways, but typically you just need to
You
put it up
eat
the
it,
ass.
Forrest.
Yeah.
Until it becomes
They started
poo.
by having people
Under your
eat it.
armpits.
Poo tablets.
No, and now they have tablets. But the first one.
What do you mean? Okay, wait.
Yeah, they have tablets.
Now they have
Talk about
tablets.
the original.
Yeah, yeah. What would they have before
The
tablets?
original, they put
fork
a
and knife
tube
that
down
shit.
Yeah,
people's
yeah. You
throat.
ever seen Two Girls, One Cup?
Yeah. Shit.
Gut health.
that got to you?
That's too
That
much.
video was just too much.
Gotta show that.
You know, the first time I saw that, we were.
How many times did you
I had
watch
to
it?
show
I
that
could
to
only
other
watch it
people.
10 to 15 times. It was too
You had
much.
to show that to other people.
Yeah, I put some people at ease where he's got his finger up their ass.
We're doing a case at 2 a.m, and the nurse comes and he goes, "You guys got to see this video. It's amazing." And we're waiting. The patient's being put to sleep, puts us in another OR, and I didn't even know how the hospital didn't firewall this thing. Puts this video on. And I'm like, what the? Nothing else to say. It was in the OR.
I got to tell you something. Okay, so that's what happens in the medical world. You do that in a comedy writer's room in LA, we'll all get fired.
Right?
Well, because they're doing it for research purposes.
I might have been writing a joke.
Yeah. How are hemorrhoids diagnosed by healthcare professionals, and what are the methods used for evaluation? Jim said you can't improve on the finger. Cannibal to run.
You forgot the scope.
I seldom need more than this. The scope.
The
as well,
anus
yeah,
scope.
he's
You
put
hate
a
that
few-
thing.
Yeah,
There's an
yeah.
anus scope?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he puts things up.
Why do you hate it? Do you have to stretch it?
What do you mean,
hurts.
why? I hate all things up the ass.
I know,
all
but
of them.
you're awake for an anus
yeah.
scope?
Yeah, he doesn't put me down there for these rubber bands or anything.
Yeah.
So it has to, you spread
Just
it.
a little tiny scope.
Do you put your eye up to it?
What I do is I look at the dead poo poster or the bat poo or whatever. You know, I look
Yeah.
at the posters and think, it's
Distract
funny,
yourself.
and try to think of
Yeah.
happier times.
You
You got to have a good manner as a proctologist, because I went through a few, right?
Yeah.
I had this one guy who wasn't bad, but he went to Vietnam and he had a few Vietnam stories he'd tell me, and I thought.
Like war stories?
I
or
thought I don't
like-
want him having flashbacks right now. And then there was another bloke who was he had no bedside manner.
Yeah.
And Dr. Camarava, he you have a lovely time in there. He sticks his finger up your ass with so much care.
I also have small hands.
Yeah, small, little hands.
Small hands is important, huh?
I tell you what, that fucking Donald Trump, after he gets done, if he wants to do some community service,
He's got little hands. I never noticed.
what? That's
Yeah,
like
a lot of people make fun of
stereotype
him.
of Donald
No.
Trump. They make fun of him because he's 6'4" and his hands are miniature.
Yes.
You've never heard the theory that Donald Trump has little hands?
It was like that in his hair.
He's
Yeah,
got-
yeah.
It's like when people do Halloween outfits, they put the little hands at the end of suit jackets.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I just didn't. So Shaq couldn't be a proctologist. Shaq would be
No.
bad.
Shaq was.
Except you'd want to be his proctologist. Be easy. Probably. You'd be like, you don't need to scope or anything. Just like.
Just look inside.
Okay, so Shaq, when I was in Hawaii last week, Shaq was also in Hawaii
You saw him?
at one of the resorts. No,
did you
I
meet
didn't
him?
see him.
Ah, I
I
love
didn't
Shaq.
see him, but each night the news was like, Shaq was on the bench. That was like, because local news in Hawaii is pretty tepid stuff. I love it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but there was this one thing where everyone caught video footage of Shaq. All the kids came and jumped in the pool around Shaq,
Yeah.
and then like they were beating him up, and he was just had them all hanging off him. And all that. So
He's
I was
the
like,
best. He's like the best.
And then he acted like he died, and they all carried him out of the pool. All these little kids, and I'm like, man, Shaq's a cool celebrity.
No, he is. He's
Because I can't act dead in the pool and say, kids, all come and carry me for fun.
There was he does. I mean, he goes around. He's always like almost every day. He's paying some like he goes to a jewelry store and pays people's like if they're putting like down payments on an engagement ring because they can't afford it. He'll do like stuff like that, and he does all this real charitable stuff like where he just buy stuff. But also it's like I remember there was these kids playing basketball and like some neighbor Karen or whatever you want to say called the cops on them, and the cops were really cool. They came out and they're like, look, we know you're not messing around, whatever, but we just had to come out here anyways. And then Shaq went to that town with the cops and played basketball with these kids and stuff. Like does stuff like that. He's a fun celebrity, man.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Plus, his hemorrhoids would be massive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You think I'd have to have him bend down, or I could just be like, stand there.
All right. So I need to ask for someone. Okay. So, oh God, she'll be very angry if I mention this. I'll just do it because you know who I'm talking
You
about.
didn't think about it too long.
My wife clogged up a toilet on holiday.
Wow,
Right, on
that's pretty
vacation.
impressive.
Yeah.
She's tiny.
Yeah. I say it's because she used too much paper. She said it was a real big poo.
I mean, she only weighs like 70 pounds.
Is there any shit that's because that means that the Shaq would be clogging up each toilet he sat on,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I believe it's paper usage. My wife, anything, if she goes into the bathroom, there's just towels, and she's such a little person, but she produces so much waste. Her being clean, it's unbelievable, right? Is there a shit that can clog a toilet in your experience?
Yes.
I know you're not a plumber, but can shits
Yeah.
be big enough to do that?
Yeah, but they're
Big people.
Jurassic Park. What was it? Jeff Goldblum says that's one big pile of shit.
Yeah,
It's
Jurassic
like
Park.
pyramiding out of the.
Yeah, because your wife's tiny.
Do you,
No,
do you
she's
guys
sorry,
have
she
too
got-
much toilet paper usage arguments often? Because it's funny that she would rather admit to doing a massive shit than just using too much toilet paper. So you must harass
I
her a
said
lot.
to her, she goes, it's clogged up, and we had to get someone. Oh, she'll be so angry at me. This will get back to her. But, this is how we pay the bills, honey. Anyway, so it clogged up, and then she had to call someone from reception to come and get it. And she was like, I go, well, what happened in there? And she goes, okay, you meant to flush. You can flush as you go along if you're worried. I go, but there's no shit in the world that's too big. I said, you're using too much paper. I'm sure of it. Using too much paper. See, this is what I don't know what she does in there, right? But whatever she's doing isn't the correct thing. Because she's not getting the job done. Because I do these monster shits, never clog up a toilet.
You do mercy flushes. though. Mercy
I do a
flush.
little bit of mercy
Shaq
flushes.
was in town. He didn't go
I
to the
have,
toilet.
I
Would've
have
made the
a,
news.
I have a Toto toilet. I have the Hello
Okay.
Tushy on
Are
my
those
other
good?
ones.
Those are good for you? Yeah, I use that.
And I use that. But I tell you what, doctor. Bit of blood coming off a hemorrhoid, right? Hey, the hose splashes it. Sometimes that makes the bleeding worse. Is the spray on one? So if I got a bleeding one, I don't use the spray on. But then also the dryer. Fucking, you can smell a cooking hemorrhoid. I feel like it's a lightly roasted hemorrhoid.
I'm,
The dryer's warm.
so regretting
Somebody
drinking last
just
night.
tuned back in and they're like, nah.
I'll give it one more chance.
What is the medical term for bleeding from hemorrhoids during or after a bowel movement? Not Ring of Fire.
Not Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
No, it's hematochezia.
Yeah.
You're not
What
gonna
is
know
it with
that.
doctors? Why do they have to make everything harder? What's wrong with bleedy butt? What's wrong with bleedy butt? Everyone knows what bleedy butt is, right?
Hematochezia is easy to remember
Yeah.
for hemorrhoids. Hematochezia.
I've had some keys in you. That's how I'd remember it. Someone put
he
some
might
keys
have had
in
some
you.
keys in you.
Yeah.
That's why it's bleeding.
That's why it's bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Well, the grading system, you talked about that. Can hemorrhoids be mistaken for other medical conditions? Jim said some types of cancer, enlarged prostate, warts.
Yeah. The biggest concern is young people come up bleeding and then you just say it's hemorrhoids and you don't think of cancer. So instead of working up the cancer, they just immediately say, that's the one thing that gives me heartache in my field is 30-year-old guy bleeding. Do I just tell him he has hemorrhoids, don't worry about it, or am I missing a cancer? And then do you don't want to do a colonoscopy in every 30-year-old that walks into the office?
Yeah.
So how do you balance, like, who am I missing an early diagnosis that's like less than 1%?
Okay.
That's the hard one. But
Are polyps related to hemorrhoid?
cancer.
No, because polyps are cancerous, right?
Some of them are, yeah.
Right.
I got to get this thing done now. I have the order there from my insurance company, and I have like 3 months to do it. But now I'm like, after this, I'm like, all right, gotta get it done. Lifestyle modifications.
You're a weird one, right? Because you don't look healthy, right? You understand this.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't look like a picture of health.
No, I know, yeah.
Right. But you go to the doctor, and the doctor keeps it. Every time he goes, the doctor's like, "You're the fittest man on earth."
Yeah.
I suspect, and his diet's not terrible. He eats all varied amount of food, not those stuff. He doesn't.
I eat a lot of
smoke,
crap too, but I eat a
doesn't
lot of
smoke,
veggies. And,
hardly drinks, right?
Yeah.
And doesn't do any drugs, right? And
I did,
I can promise you this. His asshole's going. You could eat off it.
Yeah.
I just know the
Some
doctor's
have.
going to come back like they're going to.
Wow,
walk in.
we've never seen one like this
He's going to walk. Like Forrest is going to be sitting on the edge of the bed, right? Sitting on the edge of the bed with his gown flapping around, right? And the doctor's going to come in and go, if you could just wait a minute, Mr. Shaw, because we have some other doctors who need to be in the room like this. And you're going to think, fuck, I'm dying. And then they're all going to come in and they're going to be slow clapping like your Columbo who just solved a crime. They're all just going to be...
I hope so.
Dr.
This
Kamrava is
is-
going to be like,
this
hey,
is the
everybody, come
best.
see how good this looks.
I hope so, yeah. Lifestyle modifications, fiber, less pushing.
No phone. I always tell people no phone in the bathroom.
The sitting on the toilet's bad, huh?
We think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the kind of,
I love that.
Yeah, as I said, when you got kids, it gives you a bit of peace and
It's
quiet.
also true.
Gives you
I
a
have
bit
4
of peace and
kids.
quiet.
I love the toilet.
Yeah. You get that little break. And also, it's
But eat a lot of veggies.
Also,
right?
I do my poo first thing I wake up. I do me one shit. I do 1 or 2 shits a day. But I do one as soon as I wake up, right? And I always enjoy that time because the rest of the house hasn't woken up yet. I just sort of ease into me day and I check, the interweb for whatever I need to check it for.
How is sitting on a toilet different from sitting on a chair?
Yeah, how does your asshole know?
I actually say the same thing. So, I mean, these are debates inside the field.
the
It's like,
hole.
is it actually bad? I don't know. The standard statement is stop sitting on the toilet, but I've said the same exact
I
question.
can tell you this: when my asshole's prolapsing really badly, if I sat on the toilet to have a piss, if I was having a sit down wee, my ass would prolapse with ownership because I was pushing that general area of my body. Where if I was standing up, the asshole would never do that. So
what doctors say is, oh, well, you're sitting with your butt in a hole, and that's different. I don't know. I think it's a legitimate question.
What porn, is that a thing Jim was talking about?
So
you don't want to put too many things up there, right?
I don't want to. I mean, we see it a lot with porn. Marathon runners get hemorrhoids, right? Now, always like, should I stop running? I was like, I'd rather have a good
All right,
heart.
politicians, stick to the question.
Yeah. I mean, anything that increases pressure there.
Yeah. Okay, so it could.
Yeah. Look. He has a doctor studio in LA. He's seen some porn stars' assholes.
Oh, yeah.
He's not going to tell us who or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
The hypocritical oath they have to do.
And then thrombosis in the context of hemorrhoids.
He said it right, actually. Just a clotted vein.
Clotted vein.
Yeah.
Because my mother had deep vein thrombosis. I'll tell you the story. I've told it before. I'll tell it again. It's a doozy. Right? So I was on the Jimmy Kimmel show, and my mother got deep vein thrombosis on a cruise ship. Right? No. You meant to get it in an economy flight.
Yeah.
And it's from not moving. My mother was a big person, morbidly big, and she went on a cruise ship and she moved so little that she got deep vein thrombosis in one of her legs, right?
Yeah.
That's a doozy because all you meant to do is walk around and eat food, right? So I told that story in a funnier way. I can't remember how I made it funnier. But I told her in a funny way. So I go back to Australia, and my mother was there, and she goes, "You have to go back on the Jimmy Kimmel Show and tell all of America that you're a liar." And I'm like, what? I did not get deep vein thrombosis on the cruise ship. I got diagnosed on the cruise ship. I got deep thrombosis on home before I left. And I said, so you want me to tell everyone that you actually got it in your living space and not on vacation? That would be a better thing for you.
She wanted you to do a press conference about it.
So it was good. So the next time I went on Jimmy Kimmel, I had a whole new story. I had to tell everyone I was a liar.
That's funny.
What did she say about that?
I did. I said, my mother, I got to play the footage. And I went, I'm lying there. Very clearly, I'm lying. My mother got deep vein thrombosis at home in her lazy boy chair reclined.
Yeah. Prolapse hemorrhoids, the concept of that. We did talk about that a little bit. But
it's them when they're coming out.
Yeah.
They just come in from the inside out.
So all these animals that I saw, that's all hemorrhoids and stuff too, huh?
Well, animals get hemorrhoids as well. Hemorrhoid, they push.
Well, they have hemorrhoids.
And what about the meat eaters? They're not eating enough fibre. They must have hemorrhoids up the wazoo.
A carnivore? Yeah.
Carnivores?
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh. Get some Metamucil into that line.
Yeah, whenever I get my dog groomed, they always ask if I want to express the anal glands, which my vet said not to do because of what their natural food's supposed to do that. But those are different things, right?
Those are different, and honestly, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Because what are natural living dogs doing? I never understood
Yeah,
that.
it's a poop, but that's what my vet said. The poop's supposed to be doing it on its own.
What are animals that don't have vets doing?
Well, they rub on the ground if they need to. They don't
I want to. One day we need to get a vet on this show because I reckon all they learn in university or college is cats and dogs, and then the rest of it's fucking guesswork.
Other animals.
Yeah. I reckon they just rock into work like this, and they just have they leave.
Like someone's bringing in a raccoon
They
today.
leave the room to Google.
Yeah.
Right. But someone brings in a rabbit.
Yeah,
They
right.
go,
Or a
it's
turtle?
Respiratory. Oh, turtle.
turtle.
They wouldn't be able to find a turtle's dick if they if they had a turtle dick examination tool.
What?
They wouldn't know where to find it.
If hemorrhoids that are infected are whatever, it's sorry. If you have a severe case of hemorrhoids, I was reading something else and I'm trying to say.
Do strokes affect hemorrhoids?
What are possible complications associated with untreated or severe hemorrhoids? And then Jim did a whole thing about why doesn't it get infected?
Yeah, we don't know
with the
why.
poop?
They don't. There's two places in the body where you could get a bad wound, and the body just handles it. One is the scalp,
Yeah.
and the other is the ass. And the ass is amazing because you shit. I mean, you think every time I operate on it, I would tell people, listen, putting a wound there, you're going to shit right through it within 24 hours.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do.
I never thought about that when you were talking about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So one of the most painful things that ever been. So when Dr. Kamarava did the surgery on me, which was a success for many years until the hemorrhoids came back, and it fixed what was there. I can't remember how many stitches you put up there, but it was in the teens or the 20s. It
6.
was 6.
That was the question. The last one you said 3. The THD.
Oh no!
See, I didn't know.
You only put
I
6.
threw that just for
You only
you.
put 6 up there.
It's 6
Oh, I've
columns.
been telling people like 25 or something. Oh, okay. Well, I'll take 6. But anyway, so it was like shitting past those stitches.
Oh, yeah.
It's horrendous.
Tears to your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tears, I'm going to say something very controversial. My wife giving birth didn't look as painful
You said this before. You said a version of that.
as my shitting over the stitches. Which she had if I had an injection to numb my colon, then I'd be all right. She
Well,
had the
why would you
epidural.
just do like a liquid diet then, like a protein
Doesn't
shake?
change it.
Oh no.
Doesn't change it.
No,
Okay.
no. But then you have to
Trying to
have
get around it.
You have some sitz
Jamba juice.
baths. You have some, you put those salts in the bath. What are those salts called? Epsom salts.
You soak your butt.
You sit there and have a warm thing, and then you'll see the stitches in the toilet bowl that have fallen off.
Oh,
You'll just see them.
fun.
I always joke, you don't
next
need
to the olive.
bypass to lose weight. If we do one of these procedures, people just stop eating for like a week.
Yeah, yeah.
Done.
Yeah. I still fought through it.
This question: can hemorrhoids be present without causing any noticeable symptoms? I already answered. I was asking about that. So I had them, but there wasn't really any pain or no problems. Don't shove them back in. Pregnancy, we talked about that. What are the non-surgical treatment options available for hemorrhoids? Jim said rubber banding.
So rubber banding fiber is the biggest one.
Fiber.
So he was talking about Metamucil. That's a good one.
Prep H.
It's called
Prep
rubber
H.
banding?
It's rubber band ligation.
Prep H, I don't get. I've used it a lot. It doesn't seem to do
placebo.
that.
It works for me.
It doesn't seem to do that much.
Yeah, it's mostly placebo.
He says it's placebo.
Well, it's working great. The
It's
placebo's
good.
wonderful.
Take that
Because they had the Preparation H suppositories, the ones that you put up your ass,
Yeah.
and the cream was, and I used them for a while, and then I was like, I feel this is doing me more damage than worth, and also my anal canal just felt greasy.
Mine are all external, so it helps not hurt.
I rented an Airbnb in Australia over Christmas, and I remember I packed everything, and then I came home, and then because I had that was just before I went and saw the doctor again, and I had a real bad hemorrhoid. And I bought some hemorrhoid. This story is twofold. All right, so the short answer to that story is I packed everything up out of the house. I know where I left it, and I didn't leave it in like the master suite bathroom. I left it in the guest room. I left it in the living room toilet for some reason, because that's where I was using it for some reason. So just a tube of it sitting there above the toilet. But I went in to buy some. Preparation H, or in Australia they call it rectal aid or something. Like in Australia they fuck around with names.
Yeah.
It's got bum cream, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I went in there, and the old lady, when I say old, she's 60, not super old or anything, but I came in, and she was behind the counter, and I said hi, and she goes, "I know you. I've been watching you on TV. Oh, what can I help you with?"
Yeah.
And I said, I need a hemorrhoid cream. And she just leaned over and she went, "There's never a fun way to ask."
Well, it could be.
Yeah, Australians don't fuck around. I like Australians.
Impact bowel movements. What can be done to ease discomfort during bowel movements?
Mostly
Jim said he
fiber.
cries a lot.
Yeah.
How did I only get it? What did I get wrong? 6.5.
You just said more crying than usual. Blood. You just went off on tangents.
Yeah, but I said
you brought your own
fiber. I
personal
said fiber
experience.
everywhere.
in.
Fiber,
You called
fiber,
porn a
fiber.
medical
Spelling.
condition.
And that's how you prevent the
Johnny
recurrence
Cash.
and stuff too. Is
Johnny
fiber.
Cash, yeah.
So it's all about fiber. My mom
Yeah,
always told
it's
me
all
fiber
fiber.
when I was a kid. You got to eat fiber. So
Fiber,
this is what's
fiber,
going
fiber,
on.
fiber, fiber.
Yeah.
And you're a good fiber eater. You always have a side salad everywhere we go.
I like veggies. I'm into veggies and fiber. I try to, even when I'm eating shit, So, and then steps to promote good anal and rectal hygiene to prevent irritation and exacerbation of hemorrhoids.
So for hygiene and hemorrhoids. So for hygiene, just people are overly clean. Bidet is great. So like what did you?
The
have?
Tushy.
The
Hello
Hello
Tushy.
Tushy. Hello Tushy is great. The bidet is great.
Yeah.
Wet wipes are so effective that they actually sometimes chap the ass. So a lot of times people come to me, their ass is irritated, and all it is that they've just been wet wiping a lot.
I've gone off the wet wipes.
Yeah.
I had the wet wipes for a while, and now I've gone off the wet
Yeah.
wipes because I feel, what am I, a baby? I like to rough it out. I do like a 3-ply. I want my toilet paper as bleached, as white as my hat that I'm wearing right now, and less white than my skin.
Yeah.
But I want a very white, pristine, no patterns on there, just 3-ply, soft toilet paper. Lovely.
What? Wait. So in Asia,
I'll tell you one of my favourite hemorrhoid stories. I've told this on every podcast. So one time I had a hemorrhoid that would not stop bleeding. It would not stop bleeding. And so I wedged some toilet paper up my ass just to clot it up until it clotted, and then I could move on with my day. And this thing was soaked like a heavy day, woman's day 2. You'd be able to relate,
Yeah,
Kelly.
day 2 sucks.
You women are different. Anyway, so I had...
It sounds like they're not. Sorry.
yeah, but it's a different hole, isn't it?
They're close.
Yeah, hers comes out of Forrest's favourite hole to put his finger in.
well, not Kelly's, but I mean,
No, I mean all of them. His favourite hole to put a finger in. It's someone else's vagina. Anyway, so I'd wedged this toilet paper and it was soaked with blood. Over. So I was moving on with my day. I forgot it was there. Went to the airport. They put me in the X-ray machine. You know where you got to do this, stand up like this. And I was taken off. We're going to have to do a quick search. We found something in your back pocket there. And also, it was up that's where you would hide drugs, right? And it's like, normally you have to get every bit of paper out of your pocket. You know the procedure, right? And I'm like, oh, no. Oh, no. And I'm like, yeah, look, I got hemorrhoids. Yeah, we're just going to have to check. I got hemorrhoids. And I put a bit... And then I went, and I just held my hand out. And they were like getting testy, like, don't you reach down there type of thing. And I pulled out the red tissue like this. and then they were just like, "You go," like that, right? I could have had so much cocaine up my asshole past. As long as you have that red tissue stopper, they're not going to search you no more.
No, they're done.
They're like, why does that blood smell so weird?
Oh, no.
Life hack. Life hack for drug runners. Last question here. In the THD procedure, so I guess that's not the banding one then.
No.
That Jim had performed, how many bundles of hemorrhoids are typically tied off? 3.
Oh, I had
6.
I had 6.
Yeah.
So it's a stitch?
Stitches.
That's what THD
Yeah.
is?
Transanal.
And were they all the same vein, or were they a couple of
You
veins?
just do 6 columns. Just
Wait,
it's
what
the
does it
same
stand
with
for,
everyone.
THD?
Transanal hemorrhoidal dearterialization.
Transanal.
THD.
Yeah, THD.
I asked for more THD in my weed.
All right, now's the part of our podcast called Dinner Party Facts. We ask our expert to give us...
Hey, first of all, does
Yeah.
marijuana help? It always feels like with medical conditions,
Ooh, I don't know.
because it makes you calm down.
I'll take the
man.
placebo on it. Why not?
Yeah, if you know what you got to do, you got to get fiber gummies with THC.
Yeah.
There you go.
You have a patent there.
Yeah.
All right, we ask our expert to give us some sort of fact, obscure, interesting, that the audience can use to impress people about this subject. What do you have for us, Dr. Kamarava?
So it was interesting. My partner and I talked about this. Like, what's actually interesting on hemorrhoids? I don't know. So
What's not interesting?
but I don't know. But it's a dinner party. We're sitting at dinner eating.
Wow.
I mean,
it's Jim's
I
dinner
know
party.
the veins make the ass pucker. Like, that was exciting.
It's a murder mystery dinner party, and the murder victim has died from hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
And so you're allowed to say some funny facts.
So if you go to most physicians who are like in our field and they're like, I have hemorrhoids, they'll be like, we have to do 8 sessions. I know guys out there, they'll do 30 injections or bands. They'll just treat people endlessly. And it all comes down to the reimbursement to how long does it take a band in the office? 5 minutes? Less.
Yeah, it's very
the whole
quick.
procedure in and out for like when you come in. We get paid more to do like a little rubber band, which is like $200. It's not like we're not talking thousands. Then you get paid to go in to do an appendix at 2 a.m. by insurance.
Jeez.
Like appendectomy pays almost nothing now. And so I always tell patients, they come in, it's like, my colonoscopy said I have hemorrhoids, I should get it treated. I'm like, if you're not feeling them, and it goes to, are you having symptoms? If they're not symptomatic, you don't touch those damn things. Only treat the symptoms, because the doctors are like, this is where we make money.
Oh, it's the cash cow.
But you
Yeah,
also
it's a
get paid
cash
more
cow.
because you're going in someone's ass. I feel like that's part of the deal.
No.
Hazard pay.
They're probably incentivizing us not to operate on people.
Yeah,
so we'll
okay.
pay you well, so you don't pay for an operating room,
Right.
and anesthesia, and all the other stuff.
And are the rubber bands just like from Office Depot?
No, it's I don't know.
Are they close to
I
the
buy
ones
it
that
from
are
an
braces?
Same braces ones.
They
look-
may get them from China.
They
I
look
don't know.
very small,
What
right?
colors
tiny.
did you put on his ass?
Those are black.
Oh.
Yeah. I remember they were the little tiny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for being here, Dr. Alan Kamarava. If you live in LA and you need a good proctologist, Jim recommends him.
The best.
Yeah,
You
I'm
might
telling
have to examine
Yeah.
Forrest's
I'm telling
asshole
you.
after this.
The best.
I'll do your colonoscopy. We'll have fun.
You take,
Sounded like a threat.
Take HMOs?
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
I just want to go in there and you'll be back up my ass like this. You were right about that, Forrest.
Can they do like couples
It's
colonoscopy?
one of the best colons I've ever seen.
All right. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Dr. Kamarava.
Yeah.
We appreciate you being on the podcast. That was a fun one. People are going to enjoy it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're ever at a dinner party and someone says, I have a fun fact about hemorrhoids, go, well, I don't know about that. and walk away. Good night, Australia.
All right. Thanks, Doctor.